I believed it was merely a fleeting error, a momentary lapse that would fade away, but I was gravely mistaken. That day marked the dawn of a journey into the most intricate and taboo experiences of my existence. Even now, as I recount this tale, my hands tremble with the weight of it all. This isn't merely a confession. It's a fierce battle against my own inner turmoil, a clash of shame and longing that refuses to be silenced. Daniel, my mother's husband, a man of maturity and charisma, radiated an undeniable confidence that captivated everyone around him. He was the kind of man whose presence alone drew the eyes of everyone in the room, a silent authority that resonated deeply without a single word spoken. In the stillness of the house he often remained silent, but his mere presence was a force that could saturate every corner of the space. He was my mother's second husband, a man who had always felt like a distant shadow in the corners of our lives, and our bond was never more than a fragile thread. He maintained a courteous demeanor, yet there was an undeniable distance between us, until that fateful day when everything shifted. My mom, Amanda, was out with her friends, lost in the familiar rhythm of their laughter and shared stories, as she often was. The house now belonged to Daniel and me, a legacy wrapped in shadows and secrets. The evening unfolded with an unsettling stillness, or so I believed it would. I slipped away to my room, seeking refuge as I prepared to change my clothes. As I stood before the mirror, clad only in my underwear, the anticipation of slipping into the dress was palpable. Suddenly a soft creak echoed through the room. The door was slowly opening. "Claire, your door's open," Daniel whispered, his voice barely breaking the silence as he lingered in the shadows of the doorway. His voice resonated with a calm authority that sent a shiver down my spine. As I turned my head, I felt the weight of his gaze piercing through me. Time hung suspended in the air. Uncertainty gripped me, leaving me paralyzed in the moment. I remained still, exposed yet frozen in place. He lingered at the threshold, his hand poised on the door, caught in a silent struggle between the pull of the unknown within and the safety of retreat. His gaze held me captive, weaving a tapestry of confusion intertwined with an unnameable sensation that sent shivers down my spine. My heart thundered in my chest. In mere seconds the world around her transformed, as if the very fabric of reality had been pulled taut and then released, sending ripples through time and space. "I'm sorry," he said at last, his gaze drifting away, yet the tone of his voice betrayed a hint of insincerity. It lingered with a trace of uncertainty, as if he were caught in a web of doubt, questioning whether he genuinely felt remorse for his actions. He stepped back, yet his essence lingered in the air, saturating the room even after the door clicked shut behind him. "It's fine," I murmured, my voice trembling just enough to betray the storm brewing within me. Deep down I understood that everything was far from fine. A profound change had taken root within me, and it demanded my attention. He departed and I found myself ensnared in a web of solitude, my mind racing. His lingering gaze haunted me, and the palpable tension in the air clung to my skin like a shadow, refusing to fade. That moment was seared into my memory, an indelible mark I couldn't escape. I believed it was merely a blunder, a fleeting moment of discomfort that would eventually dissolve into memory, but I was mistaken. Only a few days passed before it struck once more, and this time it escalated to new heights. Until that moment I could have easily dismissed it all as an awkward blunder, a misstep in timing, and I believed it to be just that. Yet, it soon became clear to me that this was just the beginning. That day marked the dawn of a new chapter, and now I will unfold the tale of everything that transpired from that moment forward. The following day, a wedding awaited us, filled with anticipation and the promise of unforgettable moments. One of my mom's dearest friends was preparing to walk down the aisle for the second time. My mom radiated her usual cheerfulness, bubbling with excitement, dressed to the nines and poised for the event ahead. Amanda had always been a thrill seeker, someone who reveled in the joy of adventure. My heart was bound to my friends, yet the notion of loyalty in its profound essence eluded me. Initially, I felt a sense of reluctance about attending, but the moment Daniel arrived at the wedding, everything shifted. We stepped into the venue side by side, anticipation crackling in the air around us. Amidst the thrumming energy of the crowd, my gaze kept drifting to Daniel, an irresistible pull I couldn't quite understand. Perhaps he had always possessed this striking handsomeness, this undeniable charisma, and I had simply failed to see it until now. Bathed in the enchanting glow of the wedding lights, he exuded an aura of undeniable confidence. His suit clung to him like a second skin, each stride radiating an irresistible allure that captivated all who dared to glance his way. Still, I fought to dispel the relentless thoughts swirling in my mind. I shook my head in disbelief. Claire, I chided myself, yet my gaze was irresistibly drawn back to him. The pulsating beat of a dance song erupted into the air, igniting the atmosphere with electric energy. My mom and Daniel moved gracefully on the dance floor, lost in the rhythm that enveloped them. Amanda wore her usual carefree smile, a beacon of joy in the midst of the dance. But then in a heartbeat, she pivoted toward me, her grin widening, as if sharing a secret only we could understand. Daniel extended his hand to Claire, inviting her to dance, and she accepted. I must head over to my friend's place for a while. A sudden surge of energy coursed through me, igniting my heart into a frantic rhythm. Daniel paused, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face, but then a smile broke through as he reached out his hand toward me. His eyes gleamed with an unshakable confidence, a calm that seemed to defy the chaos around him. "Come on, Claire," he urged, his voice carrying a playful lilt. "I need you to show me some moves." Amanda had already humiliated me on the dance floor. His easygoing demeanor wrapped around me like a warm blanket, making it impossible to say no. I extended my hand with uncertainty, my voice quivering as I whispered, "Sure." As we approached the dance floor, the weight of the crowd's gaze sent a shiver down my spine. As his hand settled on my waist, a rush of adrenaline surged through me, quickening my breath. The scent of his cologne enveloped her, and the warmth of his touch ignited a fire within her. It all felt achingly real. The tale is on the brink of a thrilling twist. If curiosity stirs within you, don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel and activate notifications for an exhilarating journey ahead. Your support is everything to me. Remember to share your thoughts and show your support with a like. As we swayed to the music, Daniel's gaze was locked onto mine, a magnetic pull that held me captive in the moment. "Claire, I never realized you possessed such incredible talent," he remarked, a warm smile spreading across his face. His voice held a captivating allure that resonated profoundly within me. "Every moment spent dancing with you is a thrilling delight, a captivating experience that pulls me into a world of rhythm and connection." I averted my eyes, desperate to conceal the tumultuous emotions swirling within me. "I'm giving it my all," I insisted, yet the quiver in my voice revealed the truth I tried to hide. Daniel's smile deepened, radiating warmth and tenderness. "Don't sell yourself short," he said, his hand pressing firmly against my waist, a palpable intensity igniting between us. "This transcends mere dancing. We are weaving a connection that goes beyond words. Can you sense it?" In that instant, I understood that what we shared transcended the mere rhythm of the dance. As the rhythm pulsed through me, my body danced in perfect harmony, yet my heart raced and my thoughts spiraled into chaos. The crowd surged around us, my mom's presence anchoring me as the cacophony of sound blurred into a distant hum, leaving only us in that moment. Only Daniel remained, his presence anchoring me as the hands gripped me firmly, steadying my trembling form. Within me, a tempest of confusion and desire raged, consuming every thought and feeling. As the dance unfolded, Daniel's voice emerged, soft yet resonant, slicing through the tumult of my swirling thoughts. "I need to apologize for what happened the other day," he said, his voice heavy with regret. "I only intended to warn you, but..." Grabbed their attention. And just like that, it felt as though a line had been crossed, a subtle violation of the sacred space that was yours alone. A wave of warmth enveloped me, igniting a flush across my cheeks. My gaze fell, yet I yearned to dissolve the palpable tension that hung in the air. "It's okay," I said hurriedly, my voice trembling just a bit. "In truth, it's hardly worth a second thought. Such events are not beyond the realm of possibility." Daniel hesitated for just a heartbeat, yet his feet continued to glide across the floor. His gaze locked onto mine with unwavering intensity. Yet he pressed on, his voice taking on a gentler tone. "If it stirred any discomfort within you, I want you to understand that it was never my aim. I yearned to capture your gaze." My heart raced wildly. "I wasn't uncomfortable," I insisted, my voice steady as I sought to calm his worries. Simultaneously, I grappled with the peculiar exhilaration that was starting to swell within me. Truly, everything is all right. The air around us grew heavy, charged with an unspoken tension as we lost ourselves in the rhythm of the dance. His hand rested on my waist, a palpable warmth that sent shivers through me, while the sincerity in his gaze ignited a fire deep within my soul. Yet, the fervor was fleeting. As the music gradually faded into silence, we halted our dance. "Thank you," Daniel said, a gentle smile gracing his lips, as if the warmth of his gratitude could light up the dimmest of rooms. "Your presence as a dance partner is nothing short of enchanting." I nodded, my heart pounding fiercely in my chest. "Thank you too," I whispered, my voice barely breaking the silence. With urgency, I dashed back to my table and settled into my seat. Daniel held my gaze for a heartbeat longer, an unspoken tension hanging in the air, before he finally shifted his attention to another table. In that fleeting moment, the weight of those lingering glances spoke volumes, revealing that whatever this connection was, it was far from finished. In fact, it had only just begun to unfold. "Prepare the stage." As Amanda stepped back into the wedding hall, her radiant smile lit up the room, drawing all eyes to her. "What a lovely dance!" she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with delight as she congratulated us. "You both shone brilliantly out there." Her compliment sent a rush of heat to my cheeks, and though I fought to maintain my composure, the fluttering in my chest betrayed me. A faint smile crossed my lips as I uttered, "It was fun." Daniel nodded, a subtle smile flickering at the corners of his mouth, hinting at secrets untold. Amanda's voice rang out, her hands coming together in a flurry of excitement. "Can you believe it? Following the wedding, the girls and I are diving into an unforgettable bachelorette party. Just us girls, ready for an adventure like no other. Daniel, you'll make sure Claire gets home safely, won't you?" Daniel's lips curled into a subtle smile, a flicker of warmth in his eyes. "Of course, that's no problem," he replied, his voice dripping with nonchalance, as if the weight of the world rested lightly on his shoulders. In that instant, a wave of clarity washed over me, revealing the stark injustice of Amanda's treatment of Daniel. On a night that was meant for their shared whispers and stolen glances, she slipped away, leaving him in the haunting silence of solitude. A sharp pang of discomfort lodged itself in my chest, yet I forced it deep within, refusing to let it surface. Amanda appeared utterly indifferent, her laughter and joy with her friends taking center stage, as if nothing else mattered in that moment. As the last notes of the wedding music faded into the evening air, Daniel and I made our way toward the car, the world around us blurring into a backdrop of laughter and celebration. Amanda had already slipped away with her friends, venturing into the unknown. As we slipped into the car, a tense silence enveloped us, broken only by the soft rumble of Daniel turning the key in the ignition. The silence enveloped us during the drive, thick and palpable, as if it were a living entity pressing down on the air around us. I gazed out the window, battling the urge to shatter the silence with my voice. At last, Daniel shattered the stillness that enveloped them. "Amanda, at times her priorities shift," he murmured, his gaze locked on the winding road ahead. "Yet it never fails to astonish me how utterly careless she can be in certain moments. On nights like these, one would naturally anticipate the comforting presence of a partner by their side, wouldn't they?" His tone was calm and reflective, yet beneath it, I could feel the subtle undercurrent of disappointment lurking just out of sight. His words resonated with a haunting intensity, echoing through the very depths of my soul. The image of someone like Daniel, strong, charismatic, and composed, experiencing loneliness, sent a sharp pang through my heart. I steadied my breath and replied, my voice trembling just enough to betray my unease. "Indeed, in moments like these, a touch more thoughtfulness can make all the difference." Daniel gave a subtle nod, a flicker of understanding passing through his eyes. "You're right," he said, his eyes locked on the winding path ahead. Yet, it seems that every relationship unfolds in its own unique way. In that fleeting moment, an unspoken connection began to weave itself between us, electric and undeniable. In that moment, I found myself entwined in the depths of his solitude, sensing the weight of his isolation as if it were my own. In that moment, I fought fiercely to keep my own emotions at bay. That fleeting exchange pulled me nearer to him, the connection between us deepening silently yet with an undeniable intensity. As we reached the threshold of our home, Daniel swung the door wide, his hand beckoning me to enter the familiar yet mysterious space beyond. "Good night," he murmured, but the lingering pause in his voice revealed an unspoken reluctance to part ways just yet. As I approached my room, I caught sight of Daniel lingering by the doorway, his presence a silent enigma in the dim light. An inexplicable compulsion gripped me, halting my steps as I pivoted to confront him. "Daniel," I breathed, my voice a mere whisper, "would you like to come in? Perhaps we could share a conversation for a time." Though the longing in Daniel's eyes was unmistakable, he offered a polite refusal, masking the desire that simmered just beneath the surface. In the wake of the recent events, a palpable hesitation clung to him like a shadow. I had welcomed him inside, a gesture meant to convey that I had moved beyond it, that it no longer held any weight in my heart. Instead, I found myself retreating to my room, haunted by the echoes of Amanda's behavior and the weight of Daniel's words, each replaying in my mind like a relentless loop. His loneliness wrapped around me like a heavy fog, seeping into my bones and stirring emotions I was reluctant to confront. Perched on the edge of my bed, I struggled to find solace, yet the relentless storm of thoughts in my mind refused to subside. Why did he occupy my thoughts so relentlessly? Why was I unable to shake the memory of that fateful day when he stumbled into my room, uninvited? Time dragged on, each minute stretching into eternity, as the house sank deeper into an unsettling silence. Amanda was still missing, and the uncertainty of Daniel's actions loomed over me like a dark cloud. As I grappled with my swirling thoughts, the abrupt creak of my door swinging open sent a jolt of ice through my veins, leaving me paralyzed. My gaze lifted, and there he was, Daniel, framed in the doorway, a silhouette of intrigue and unspoken tension. His eyes burned with a fierce determination, yet his expression betrayed a storm of inner conflict. I sprang to my feet. "Daniel," I exclaimed, my voice betraying the shock that coursed through me. "What are you doing here?" He shut the door with a soft click, yet remained frozen on the threshold, the air thick with unspoken tension. Instead, he lingered in silence, caught in a fierce internal struggle. "Claire," he began, his voice a hushed whisper thick with unspoken feelings. "You're right. Amanda, she treats me unjustly. But tonight, I am utterly indifferent to Amanda's actions or inactions." He stepped closer, his eyes piercing into mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. "For a while now, I felt something for you," he confessed, his voice unwavering yet tinged with uncertainty. "It was a moment etched in my memory, the day I stumbled into your room, uninvited and unprepared. It haunts me, lingering in the shadows of my thoughts." The atmosphere felt heavy, as if the very air had been drawn away, leaving an unsettling silence in its wake. Words eluded me, thoughts slipped away like shadows in the night. Daniel pressed on, an unwavering resolve etched across his face, to unburden his soul, regardless of the fallout that might ensue. Perhaps I'll look back on this moment with regret, perhaps I'm teetering on the edge of a colossal mistake, but the weight of my secret has become unbearable. "Claire, you occupy my thoughts endlessly." He halted, his gaze locked onto my face, probing for any flicker of emotion. His gaze pierced through me, and I felt the weight of my disbelief reflected in my eyes. He edged forward, his voice dropping to a whisper, filled with an intensity that drew her in. "Claire, you truly grasp the depths of my soul. Perhaps you remain unaware, yet your gaze finds me. That is a feat Amanda has never managed to accomplish." My heart raced violently, each beat echoing in my chest as if it might explode at any moment. The gravity of the moment pressed down, suffocating and all-consuming. A response lingered on the tip of my tongue, yet the silence swallowed my thoughts whole. The silence enveloped us like a thick fog, laden with the weight of unvoiced emotions that lingered just beyond our reach, too daunting to confront. Daniel finally shattered the tension, his eyes drifting down to the cold, unyielding floor beneath him. He let out a heavy sigh, the weight of the moment pressing down on him as he swallowed with difficulty. "I'm sorry, Claire," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper, trembling with an unspoken weight. Regret washed over me like a tidal wave, crashing against the shore of my thoughts. I shouldn't have uttered a single word of it. I must leave now. He averted his gaze, his footsteps echoing softly as he made his way to the door. With each deliberate step, The weight of his burden became increasingly palpable. As his hand moved toward the doorknob, I caught a glimpse of the tension in his shoulders, rising and falling with a heavy, deliberate breath. In that moment, a profound transformation stirred within me. In that moment, every fear and doubt dissolved, giving way to a fierce courage I never realized was within me. I couldn't allow him to walk away. "Daniel," I called out, my voice a hushed murmur yet powerful enough to resonate through the room. He came to a sudden halt. With deliberate slowness, he pivoted to face me, our gazes locking in an intense exchange. Within them churned a tempest, a fierce clash of regret and longing waging war in the shadows of their souls. In that fleeting instant we were frozen, caught in a web of anticipation. With a heart racing and hands quivering, I slowly let the straps of my dress slip from my shoulders, watching as the fabric cascaded to the floor. The dim light in the room cast a soft glow on my bare shoulders, while the cool air caressed my skin, sending shivers down my spine. Daniel's gaze pierced through me, intense and unwavering, like a spotlight in the dark. His gaze was a palpable force, tracking my every move, and I found myself unable to tear my eyes from his piercing stare. "I haven't forgotten either, Daniel," I said, my voice quivering with emotion, yet the fierce resolve within me surged, overpowering any trace of doubt. "That day, the instant you stepped into my room, the world shifted irrevocably. Since that moment I've battled to keep these emotions at bay. Yet they surge within me, undeniable and fierce because I like you too. Perhaps I've felt this way for an eternity." As the words spilled forth, my heart raced violently, threatening to burst from its confines. Daniel fell silent, his gaze locked onto mine, as if he were delving deep into the very essence of my words, trying to unravel the meaning behind them. Yet within those eyes I glimpsed the same magnetic pull, the same irresistible bond that had been drawing me in all along. "Tonight," I declared, inhaling deeply to steady my racing heart, "I refuse to battle these emotions any longer. I'm uncertain about what's right or wrong, but this is the truth of my heart, Daniel." He moved in, his hand softly grazing my face, sending shivers down my spine. His touch lingered, a blend of tenderness and intention, as if he feared shattering the fragile magic of the moment. As our gazes intertwined, the distance that once separated us vanished, revealing the truth that had always lingered beneath the surface. As he leaned down, time seemed to stand still. When his lips finally met mine, that first kiss ignited a whirlwind of emotions and desires we had both kept buried for far too long. Daniel's touch ignited a fire within her, his kisses deepening, more fervent with every heartbeat that echoed in the charged air. Not once did the idea of retreating, of halting my advance, flicker through my thoughts. In that instant I was utterly enveloped by the experience. With each cautious step, I retreated until the familiar edge of the bed pressed against my legs, and in a moment of surrender, I let myself tumble onto its surface. My gaze was drawn to Daniel as his fingers deftly navigated the buttons of his shirt, each one released with a deliberate slowness that heightened the tension in the air. Each movement was intentional, a careful choreography designed to relish this fleeting moment, to stretch it into eternity. As he finally cast aside his shirt, an aura of confidence and authority enveloped the room, captivating everyone within its reach. He advanced another step, his eyes locked onto mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. With his clothes arranged meticulously at the edge of the bed, he leaned in, inching closer until the space between us crackled with an undeniable electricity. The atmosphere crackled with an electric tension, thick with unspoken longing and fervent yearning. Time hung suspended in the air, leaving only that singular moment, only the two of us. He leaned over me, and in that moment we forged a bond, surrendering to one another entirely. It was a whirlwind of emotions. A powerful warmth surged within me, something immense and alive. This sensation was unlike anything I had ever experienced, a profound shift that stirred something deep within me. As I gazed at Daniel, his broad shoulders and powerful physique commanded my attention. With my eyes shut tight, I lifted my hands, pressing them against the pillow as I sought to mirror the rhythm of Daniel's body. In that instant, a powerful tension seized my body. Daniel's gaze locked onto mine, and with a weighty sincerity he declared, "You're very special. I have always been aware of that truth." Clarity washes over me like a tide, revealing the depths I once struggled to comprehend. He gasped for air, his lungs burning with each desperate inhale. "So are you, Daniel," I said, a warmth blossoming within me. Everything enveloped me like a vivid dream, blurring the lines between reality and imagination. As Daniel settled beside me, I nestled my head against his chest, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat beneath me. As I nestled against his powerful chest, the steady thrum of his heartbeat resonated in my ears, a calming pulse in the midst of everything else. The weight of this moment settled around me, a paradox of serenity and deep unrest swirling within my soul. My fingers danced softly over his chest, each movement a silent plea for the courage to shatter the stillness that enveloped us. "You didn't stumble into my room by chance this time, Daniel," I said, my voice a low murmur, thick with unspoken significance. I raised my head to lock eyes with him, my words compelling him to face the truth, while simultaneously exposing the storm of emotions raging within me. Daniel's smile was faint, yet it failed to mask the profound contemplation that shadowed his features. "No, Claire," he said, his voice firm yet laced with an undercurrent of tension. "This was no mere coincidence. I needed to share my feelings with you, despite the weight of the challenge it posed." I averted my eyes to his chest, my fingers hesitating in their rhythm. Drawing in a deep breath, I found my voice once more. "You're such a remarkable and irresistibly handsome man, Daniel," I whispered, my voice barely above a breath. "But what unfolds next? How do we move forward, my mother, the people?" Daniel tilted his head, drawing me nearer as his fingers wove through my hair, a gentle yet electrifying touch that sent shivers down my spine. His voice, steady yet brimming with unspoken feelings, resonated in the air. Uncertainty hung in the air, thick and palpable. "I don't know, Claire," he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid the truth might shatter the fragile moment between them. "In this very moment, reality envelopes me, and I can feel its weight pressing down, grounding me in an undeniable truth. Your proximity is undeniable, a magnetic pull that draws me in deeper." His words stirred the tempest within me, yet paradoxically, his raw honesty offered a balm to my turmoil. I shut my eyes, immersing myself in the comforting warmth of his presence, even as the shadows of uncertainty about the future loomed ominously around us. In that fleeting moment, the world around us faded, leaving only the raw intensity of our connection. If you've journeyed this far, it's clear that my tale has resonated with you profoundly. There's an entire world waiting to be unveiled, and you'll be captivated by every moment of it. Make sure to follow along, activate those notifications, and share your thoughts on this tale in the comments below. I eagerly await your reflections.